The first topic of our Module 1 in Science 9 is the respiratory system. The respiratory system is a network of organs and tissues that help you breathe. It includes your airways, lungs, and blood vessels. The muscles that power your lungs are also part of the respiratory system. These parts work together to move oxygen throughout the body and clean out waste gases like carbon dioxide. What does the respiratory system do? The respiratory system has many functions. One of its vital functions is it involves in exchanging of gases. External respiration refers to gas exchange that occurs in the alveoli, whereas internal respiration refers to gas exchange that occurs in the tissue. Besides helping you inhale, breathe in, and exhale, breathe out, it also filters, warms, and humidifies the air. Respiratory system protects us from harmful particles such as dust that comes with the air. It also influences our speech and allows us for sense of smell. Warning terminologies. Respiration is used in several different ways, just like cellular respiration. It is the aerobic breakdown of glucose in the mitochondria to make ATP. So, it is a respiration in cellular level. But what does respiration mean? Respiration is an everyday term that is often used to mean breathing. It is carried out by the respiratory system. Parts of respiratory system. Our respiratory system is composed of nostrils, the nasal cavity, pharynx, epiglottis, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, and the last one is the diaphragm. Our upper respiratory tract, also called as outside thorax, is composed of nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, and larynx. While our lower respiratory tract, also called as within thorax, is composed of trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and our lungs. Structures of upper respiratory tract. The first one is our nose, which warms and moistens the air. Inside our nose, we could see the nostrils, also called as the anterior nares, which is the two holes of the nose. The second one is the nasal cavity, which refers to the large air-filled space above and behind the nose in the middle of the face. And the last one is the septum, which is a very thin pieces of bone that separates right and left nostrils and the nasal passages. The second structure of upper respiratory tract is the pharynx or our throat. It is located at the base of the skull to esophagus. The pharynx has three divisions. We have the nasopharynx, which is located behind the nose to the soft palate. So here is our nasopharynx, the space behind our nose. The second one is the oropharynx. It is the it is located behind the mouth, soft palate to hyoid bones or our tonsils. So it is located the space behind our mouth. And the last one is the laryngopharynx, which is located from the hyoid bone to esophagus. So it is located from the hyoid bone to the esophagus. So here it is. So that is the third division of the pharynx. The structures of lower respiratory tract. So the first part is the larynx, which is the voice box. It is located at the root of the tongue to the upper end of the trachea. It is made of cartilage and composed of two pairs of folds. The first folds is vestibular folds or false vocal cords. So here it is, the false vocal cords. And the next one is the vocal folds or true vocal cords. So here it is our true vocal cords. So that is the larynx. So inside the larynx, we could see the thyroid cartilage or Adam's apple, larger in males due to testosterone. Let me clarify this one. All male and females have Adam's apple, but it is more prominent in males because of the levels of testosterone. Thus, it is not weird or abnormal to see females that have prominent Adam's apple. They have just high levels of testosterone. And the last one is the epiglottis, a flap of skin or hatch on trachea, which moves when swallowing and speaking. It closes off trachea when swallowing food. Thus, it serves as the gates of the larynx. It is also separates the air we breathe from our food. So this picture is a frontal view of our larynx. The upper part is the hyoid bone. Below the hyoid bone, we could find the thyroid cartilage. And the lower part of the thyroid cartilage is the thyroid gland. And this part is our trachea. The next part is the trachea, also called as the windpipe. It is located from the larynx to the bronchi, and it consists of smooth cartilage and C-shaped rings of cartilage. So this incision is an operation resulted from tracheostomy, a cutting of an opening in trachea to allow breathing. The next part is the bronchi, branching pathway of air from the trachea into the air in and out of the lungs. When we are referring at the one side of the bronchi, we call it as bronchus. So here it is, the right bronchus and the left bronchus. Next to bronchi is bronchioles. Bronchioles are air passages inside the lungs that branch off like tree limbs from the bronchi. It delivers air to tiny sacs called alveoli, where oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged. So in the picture, we have here the bronchi, the right bronchus, and the left bronchus. And this tiny network branching off the bronchus, each bronchus is the bronchioles. Next to bronchioles is the alveoli. Alveoli are tiny balloon-shaped air sacs at the very end of the respiratory tree and are arranged in clusters throughout the lungs. It is the site for gas exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. Let's identify which part of this picture is the alveoli. So in number 1, we have the bronchioles, and number 2, this is what we call as the alveoli. In number 3, this branch that branch up from the bronchioles is what we call as the alveoli duct. And this group of alveoli is what we call as the alveoli sacs or air sacs. The next part is the lungs. The lungs is responsible for housing the alveoli, which is the site for gas exchange. Our lungs is divided into lobes by fissures or cracks. In our right lung is divided into 3 lobes. The upper part is the superior lobe, the middle part is middle lobe, and the lower part is the inferior lobe. While in the left lung, it is only divided into 2 lobes. The upper, the superior lobe, and the lower part is the inferior lobe. The next structure is the pleural cavity. It is a fluid-filled space that reduces friction on the lungs during respiration. It encloses and protects lungs. It protecting us from not directly damaging our lungs when accident happens. Pleurisy is the inflammation of pleural lining. And the last structure is the diaphragm. So that part is the diaphragm. It is a flat muscle that contracts when inhaling to allow air to fill the lungs and relaxes when exhaling to push out air to the lungs. So that's all for the parts and functions of respiratory system. Now let's proceed to breathing mechanism.